Welcome, John. Thanks so much for accepting my invitation. Let's dive right in. So, what does gratitude mean for you, John?
To me, gratitude is just being present in the moment and then just appreciating something around you. We can't just always fall back to, oh, I have gratitude for my family and my friends and my kids. Like, okay, do that once and good. We get it. Got it. Check. Now be present in the moment and, be thankful for that bird that just chirped or, for my air conditioner, that's keeping things cool and on a very hot Puerto Rican day, for the internet that's allowing you and I to have this seamless, beautiful conversation right now. So that's what I think about gratitude.
Yeah, I think it's awesome because it's actually in the little things much more than the big things, because I didn't have like the kind of success that you have, but small successes. And I know that they last for a while. Like you feel great for a while, but afterwards you go back to the way you are, ordinary, yeah. Right?
And by the way, be grateful for big things, just not every single time. Like when I look at gratitude journals and every day it's like my 2-year-old daughter, it's like, okay, we get that you're grateful for your daughter and you should be. We should also be grateful for other things as well.
Yeah, totally. We have so many reasons to feel grateful. And that's why I'm doing gratitude reminders on my podcast. I put a new reminder every day about what we could be grateful. And these are just simple things like having a comfy bed or the sun that hits our world and gives us light and everything. So yeah, it's something really simple that gets us happy and grateful much more than the big successes that we have in life.
It's true.
So, John, do you have like a favorite quote on gratitude?
I would say probably my favorite quotes when it comes to gratitude. And, this is kind of like one of those quotes that, I always kind of look for deeper meanings, like within one quote. And that quote would be by Albert Einstein, which is try not to become a person of success, but rather a person of value. And like when I look at that quote from a lot of different angles, like from a gratitude angle, I say, hey, if I can just be grateful that I can provide value to you today and not worry about if this makes me more successful or not, that type of gratitude, that type of value is going to propel me forward. So that's really where my focus is like the value and then being grateful for the opportunity to provide that value. And, again, wherever it leads is wherever it leads. But coming from that place, it's done me pretty well.
Yeah, totally. And you actually enjoy the journey. You don't always think about, okay, I have to reach that goal and everything. You just feel grateful and enjoy the journey, which is actually the life that we're living.
You can do all of these things right, and you're still going to have your bad days and your struggles and your failures. I have failures all the time. But, it's going back to being grateful and gratitude and giving value that brings me out of that. So, it's not like just doing these things is going to get you on this road to success that's up, up, up. It's still going to be a roller coaster, but that can always kind of be your North Star that's pulling and guiding you.
Totally. So what do you do when it's hard to be grateful? Because you just anticipated my question. Like sometimes it's really not that easy to feel grateful and to see the beautiful things that we have in our life. What do you do then?
I don't force it. I don't try to force it because then it's fake. And if it's fake, then it just doesn't work. So what I instead try to do is just take a step back, give myself some space from whatever it is that's frustrating, annoying, or not allowing me to be grateful. And I just breathe. I literally just close my eyes, in through the nose, fill the belly up, not the chest, fill the belly up with air, and then hold and then breathe out. And then you do that a couple times. And then what's kind of interesting that I found is you start to recognize, wow, like it's pretty amazing breathing. Like breathing's pretty amazing. Like all of the things that have to happen for me to breathe, the oxygen in the air, the coming into my nostrils, the filling up my belly, the blowing back. How are all of these things working together? And by the way, my stomach's digesting its lunch and it's this, but like everything's still working. And then your mind just shifts and you're like, wow, life is pretty special. And that kind of brings you in. And, that to me has always been helpful. Taking a step back, taking a deep breath, and just letting your mind kind of wander a little bit.
Yeah, that's beautiful, because always when we're back in the present moment and we see the little things that actually create the bigger things in our life, and our life in general is created by little things much more than bigger things that people actually might see from the exterior. Like we live each day and we breathe much more breaths than we reach, I don't know, $1 million goal or something. And this is why we're living, and we should enjoy all of the journey. And I'm very passionate about bringing this to surface and to enjoying the journey.
Love it.
When did you actually get to really live gratitude? Not just understand the concept, but actually live it, actually feel the feeling of gratitude and actually live it most of the time.
I think it was 3 years ago when I was 34 years old. I'm 37 years old now. And, I had sporadic bursts of gratefulness, and I was always a happy kid. I was always, very much wanting to live in the moment and enjoy the moment. And so I've led, for the most part, a really happy, enjoyable life with, of course, my share of struggles and obstacles and challenges. Absolutely. But it really kind of came to me when I, was a couple years into my business, EO Fire, and was making, 7 figures a year and was really happy about that success. But at the same time, like, it wasn't like I was walking around on cloud 9 all the time. So I was like, there's still something kind of missing right now. And that was gratitude. And that's why I'm not sure if you're a consumer of either of my journals, the Freedom or Mastery Journal, but you start your day with something that you're grateful for. Like, that's the key components of the beginning part of these journals. Every day for 100 days, what are you grateful for? Challenge yourself. And a couple years into my business, again, like 3 years ago, I was able to kind of really understand the importance of that and how I could really apply that to my life by writing it down and by challenging myself and making that happen. So now it's a part of my daily life where, frankly, it wasn't for the prior 34 years, which, didn't mean I was leading an unhappy or unsuccessful or unfulfilled life. It just meant that, that part was missing, and I'm glad that it no longer is.
Yeah, I love this part about your journals. I have the Freedom Journal, and I think this is awesome that you begin with that, because it shifts your perspective, and you appreciate more the process. And also you have some more questions that are related to gratitude, not directly, but in the night.
Yeah, like something wonderful that happened today. Like,
exactly.
Share 2 wonderful things that happened today. It makes you look back over your day and say, you know what? Like, there's a lot of stuff that went wrong, and there's a lot of frustrating things that happened today. But let me pick out a couple great things that happened today that I might just forget about in the avalanche of struggles that I have. Let's go back and pinpoint a couple great things that happened today, just so we can recognize that, hey, started the day off with gratitude. Let's end the day off with a couple great things that happened, so that we can really, go into tomorrow on a high note.
Yeah, what in my experience, what I've seen is that if you do focus on what went good that day, and you realize that you made progress and that there were things that went great, even though you had like many problems and many things that you needed to solve, it builds up and it builds momentum more than just if you think, okay, I have so many worries and I have so many things to still get a hold of. That makes it really hard to actually make a progress. And after a while, you just can't go forward no more, because you don't have anything you built upon, right?
So true.
So yeah, I think this is awesome, and your journal is amazing. I've been using it, and I totally recommend it. I think it's awesome, and it's so helpful, because it's like you're having a conversation with someone that asks you really great questions, and it puts you to do stuff. So you need to do stuff. You can't just write things down. It's very action oriented, and I love that. At least in my experience with being an entrepreneur, doing this podcast is extremely useful. So I totally recommend it to our listeners, to the gratitude seekers. Totally go for it. I think it's really useful. So do you feel that gratitude has helped you to reach this level, to get to 6-figure income, to have all this kind of success?
It really has, because, you are going to win when you're able to be consistent, when you're able to look at your life and your journey as a marathon and not just the sprint. And so you need to do the small things right every single day. That's why the first thing I do in the morning is exercise, followed up by meditation, followed up by writing in my journal, which of course includes gratitude. So like doing those things every morning kind of centers me and gets me prepared for the marathon of life. And that's really exciting. And that's something that, like I really know that I want to continue to have as part of my life. So, those are kind of going to be three things that are absolutes, before I sit down at this computer and start, work is, have I exercised? Have I hydrated, and put the right fluids in my body, whether that be water with apple cider vinegar or lemon or, some kind of good hydration into my body with good water. And then, have I meditated? Have I given myself a chance to just kind of breathe and be one and let my mind kind of wander a little bit? And then have I journaled? And, have I set my intentions for the day, starting with something that I'm grateful for, followed by what I'm going to actually accomplish and produce today, and so on and so forth. So absolutely.
Yeah, I think this is brilliant. And by appreciating yourself, you give yourself the time to get in a certain state and to take care of yourself. And in this way, you get much more productive. And I think this is a great tip for our listeners, because otherwise you just have to do things and you forget about yourself. You forget about being grateful and you just do life. You just do everything that's necessary, but actually you're not enjoying anything. So yeah, if you could go back in time, like 10 years ago, what would you tell your younger self about gratitude?
Well, I'd say practice it daily, and keep it short, because, it shouldn't be this long drawn out process, because then you're not going to stick to it, because, we're all busy. We all have things to do. So just make it short and sweet. And that's why for me, like I just have, one thing that I'm grateful for, like that can get me off and going. And maybe if I'm feeling obliged, I continue that and I write a couple things down, or I do a little more in that area. But, I feel like if I at least do that one thing, that's getting me down the road. So that's what I would tell myself, is just to start the daily practice of gratitude instead of, I started it 3 years ago. I wish I started it 10 years ago.
Totally. I know. I know the difference, and it creates another world for you. You are referring to things that helped you to be grateful and to have a great day. I'm totally sure that your success was helped by a lot of people. And I'm wondering if you want to mention a few people that you're grateful for.
I'm grateful for Jamie Masters, who was my first mentor, who took me down that road. I'm grateful for Cliff Ravenscraft, who had a podcast mastermind that I was able to join. I'm grateful for Lewis Howes, who was my mentor for 6 months and taught me how to do webinars and really start to monetize my business. I'm grateful for my girlfriend, Kate Erickson, who's been a partner in the business almost since the beginning. And she's done a lot to bring EO Fire to where it is today.
All right. Thank you very much. I love it. And where can our audience find you? Where can our audience see your work and get the Mastery Journal and the Freedom Journal?
So all the magic for us happens at eofire.com. We have a great bunch of free courses for entrepreneurs. If you want to learn about podcasting, webinars, funnels, goal setting, we have it all there. So just check out our free courses at eofire.com.
Awesome. Also, you will find links to the Freedom Journal and the Mastery Journal on the show notes page. Thank you very much for joining us. It has been a total pleasure.
Thank you. It was great talking.